Look, up in the sky, it's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's the one superhero who can never die. Yep, the Man of Steel himself, Superman. Clark Kent's immortality both on the pages and in pop culture spawns from many a reason, from the way his narratives have unfolded since his debut in 1938, to the way his properties have been managed by DC Comics. So today we're counting down the top 10 reasons why Superman can't die. Let's jump in. In at number 10 is superhuman condition. Let's start off this list by looking at the advantages Superman innately has. Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman durability, and superhuman longevity. And that's only the tip of the iceberg in terms of abilities that the Man of Steel has. It still exceeds many of the abilities of the foes or other heroes he encounters, who also have superhuman abilities. But he has a significant advantage. For example, while he may not be as fast as the Flash when the two raced, which happened quite a few times, Superman always comes in a very close second to the Scarlet Speedster. And in other cases, well, he's faster than most. And at number 9 is he doesn't age. Many a fan have questioned why in certain pieces of work, like The Dark Knight Returns, Superman looks as if he hasn't really aged compared to the other remaining ex-members of the Justice League, despite having grown at a regular human pace as a child. Well, as it states in Kingdom Come, Superman ages at 1/4 of the speed of Earth-born humans. Kryptonians' aging slows down after puberty, and the more sun that is absorbed, the slower the process of aging becomes. Up next, number 8 is invulnerability. Superman's invulnerability goes a long way when it comes to winning a fight. If you've seen any of our Versus videos where Superman faces off against another hero, his invulnerability tends to be a major one-up over his foes. He's immune or highly resistant to most forms of physical damage, injury, illness, and disease, and invulnerable to non-magic attacks. Plus, he can survive in some of the most extreme conditions, including space, as long as he's holding his breath. This brings another question to light though. Since this excelled invulnerability is something that Kryptonians all have in common, why is Superman superior to them? Up next, number 7, the cream of the crop. Superman himself outlines the difference between him and other Kryptonian heroes when fighting against Ultraman, his Earth 3 counterpart. He says that he's resourceful, he's got the experience, the skill, and the knowledge to combat his foes effectively. That experience does go a long way. It's the difference of being innately good at something versus being good at something and having had decades to practice and condition it. And he's got a whole lot more exposure to yellow solar energy, having lived on Earth for so long. His body has metabolized it, which gives him more endurance. Which brings us to our next point. In at number 6, the sun. As long as there's a sun, Superman has an energy source that he can recharge from and pull more power from. Yellow stars, also known as G-type stars, produce energy that can be processed by Kryptonians. This is called the photonucleic effect, an astronomical effect when an object native of the influence of a red giant star enters the influence of a small G-type star. Elliot S. Megan further described the process and how it affects Kryptonians in his novella Star Wind's Howl, which is the story of Krypto the dog's journey to Earth. Up next, number 5 is more and more abilities. An addition of new powers or abilities isn't an uncommon occurrence in comics, and has happened at some point to most of our favorite heroes. It's the reason why the Hulk has gone from brute strength to sheer invincibility. Adding new abilities can happen for many reasons, such as keeping new story arcs interesting or adding more conflict, or in some cases can be a result of a technical request. In the 1940s, the Fleischer brothers requested from DC to change Superman's leaping ability to flying, since it was difficult to animate. In the Silver Age, writers gave Supes the ability to fly across the solar system, to other worlds and galaxies, even to new universes. And because that made it difficult to provide any sort of challenge for Superman, DC tried to rein in the character in 1986 by giving him hard limits, like barely being able to survive a nuclear blast, even though he can still recover from one, and his flights being limited by how long he could hold his breath. And at number 4 is legacy. Superman is considered by many to be the first superhero to grace comic books, arguably, and thus massively changing the industry as a whole, with superheroes dominating the mainstream industry to this day. Historically, Superman is very much a symbol for hope, truth, and justice, which was further reflected in the Superman comics released during the Second World War. He's considered an American cultural icon, and the character has been associated with being a figure of patriotism and masculinity, despite critics having many conflicting opinions towards the realism of these perspectives. Up next, number 3 is financially profitable. Superman is without a doubt one of the most popular heroes of all time, with his title being the 4th largest selling comic book series with over 600 million copies sold. It's not just the sales of his comics over the years though that have pulled in the big bucks. The film franchises have made mad money, with the 1978 film making over $300 million at the box office, and the total of all Superman films totaling $2 billion at the box office as of 2016. So you bet that killing off one of their biggest moneymakers is not advantageous for DC DC or Warner Brothers. And DC Cinematic Universe fans, Henry Cavill is contracted to continue playing Superman for a couple more movies, so don't be surprised if they play the resurrection card there. Also, sorry, spoilers. Up next, number 2 is Kryptonian coma and the death of Superman. Superman's most notable death came at the hands of Doomsday back in 1992 during the death of the Superman story arc. Suffering from wounds after an excessive punching match between the two, both Doomsday and Superman are presumed dead, except not really. The storyline then evolved into Reign of the Supermen, where several imposters started popping up, and Superman returns by the end of it, alive and well. How? Superman entered a hibernation state, a Kryptonian coma if you will, and was jump-started by one of the imposters posing as him, using him as a conduit. Which brings us to our next point, number 1, death is irrelevant. The death of Superman, which appeared in Superman number 75, sold out overnight and received a ton of international hype. But when Superman was revived, fans felt deceived that DC used this as a marketing ploy to just rake in a bunch of money without having any integrity for the stories they were trying to tell, or the beloved characters that they were telling them with. Now you might be wondering, why does this mean Superman can't die? Well, this story arc was the arc that set the resurrection in comics movement forward. After the release of this arc, the number of deaths and resurrections in comics increased exponentially. To this day, fans perceive this as the beginning of the decline in the comic book industry. Superman left the door open for death, and pretty much any character can die and now come back, with no repercussions really. There we have it, friends. Are you a fan of Superman's? Or do you wish he'd just die for good? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, if you dug this video, show us some love and hit those like and subscribe buttons. And feel free to check out some of our other nerdy videos, like the ones in our recently uploaded playlist. In the meantime, I've been Kelly Pally. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.